Again, welcome to another IQMax Mobile Solutions webinar. Today we're going to speak about a few pieces of the platform from IQMax, as well as our rounding solution, which is an application that rides on the platform and creates patient information rendered to the care provider in a mobile environment. So first, let's talk a little bit about what IQMax does and what markets we serve in and what devices we support and solutions that we support as they've come along. As everyone knows, through commercialization of iPads and Android tablets and such, tablets and smartphones are projected to outsell PCs worldwide in 2011, and 90% of physicians will have a mobile device. 63% are smartphones, which means they're carrying a piece of intelligence in their hands, a basic computer in their hands that is able to communicate to these back-end systems that they need to get information from and deliver information to. By 2013, there will be 100% adoption of smartphones. 72% of physicians with smartphones currently use their device at the point of care. So that means that they're with the patient and they're rendering care using their smartphones today. So a little bit about IQMax. IQMax is a mobile solution provider. We've been running on mobile devices since late 2000. Mobile devices have become a valuable tool for physicians in their daily activities and rendering patient care. Care providers are increasingly using their devices to support them in their daily workflows, connecting them to mission-critical patient information and clinical data at the point of care or while on the move, whether at the hospital, clinic, or anywhere in between. For more than 10 years, I said, IQMax has been focused on the development of mobile healthcare software solutions that significantly increase the functionality and capabilities of mobile technology, enabling healthcare providers to be more efficient in their daily workflow, enabling them to make more informed patient care decisions. So as a mobile healthcare provider, we need to actually connect to information that physicians and care providers at the point of care need to have at their fingertips for making decisions and delivering information to and from those systems. So IQMax has created a product within our solution called IQ Connect, which actually takes these disparate data systems, no matter what they are on the back end, and give a conduit into the care provider without the care provider having to acknowledge every single independent system, no matter where it is. So they'll get one single common view for all patients across all care continuums. So we're going to talk a bit about several different products that are applications within the IQMax platform solution and that use that platform to deliver applications before we specifically go into a demo and discuss the rounding solution that we're going to talk about today. IQ Patients is a solution that's an application on the device that uses that technology we have to deliver patient information to the care provider. We have over 60 integrations to back-end HIT, EMR systems. Some examples you see on your screen are Philips, Cerner, IDX, Epic, GE, MySys, Allscripts, Meditech, VitalWorks, NCG. There's a very long list. Obviously, it totals up to over 60 of those. It's patient-centric, so the patients are who you see, where you're going to see them, and a little bit of snippet information about them that you want to see on the front screen. It works in all types of care environments from simple to complex, and it's sorted based on a user specification, so they get to decide how they see the data, what order they see it in, and what pieces of data they see on their front screen. Detailed demographics are customized, configured to each environment for each user, and there's several different workflow methodologies. So care providers are all different in their nuances of how they like to do their workflow, and we have a lot of different workflow methodologies that have to cater to those different scenarios. IQ Charge is a charge solution that allows care providers to capture charges at the point of care and have those delivered to back-end systems. So they can document, physicians can capture billable charges at the point of care. They're helping to eliminate lost charges, paper notes, missing charges, and ensure that all charges are accurately accounted for and properly documented. This process, by moving a care provider to a mobile charge solution, can increase revenue by up to $20,000 per physician. It streamlines and automates the billing process and lowering the healthcare costs, improves and increases cash flow for the healthcare organizations themselves. The physician can capture charges in any care setting. Doesn't matter their specialty, doesn't matter whether it's a surgery center, hospital they're rounding in, or a clinic-based setting. It's secure anytime, anywhere access. It's HIPAA compliant, and it supports multiple platforms, mobile platforms such as iOS, Windows, Android, and BlackBerry. IQSpeak is a dictation solution provided by IQMax that delivers patient information to the care provider to then take action on to actually dictate on the patient. So they simply speak into the mic and the device will capture that dictation and route that. It gives them the ability to document patient encounters in real time in any care setting, acute or ambulatory, and ensure the accuracy and detail of the patient care. So they're capturing that information right now when it's fresh on their mind, instead of later on down the road when they get to a place where they can actually feel like they have time to dictate because they have to get to a phone or other place to do that. Saves physicians up to 60 minutes per week. It improves their workflow, increased time for patient care, so that time is now available to spend with patients instead of getting to a phone or such other device to dictate. And it's secure anytime, anywhere access. It's HIPAA compliant, and as we said, supports multiple OS platforms for mobility solutions. IQRounds, which we'll talk about in much more detail shortly in a demo that I will present, is a solution that delivers patient-specific information about patients that are specific to the care provider in the environment they're in. So they don't need to log into different systems to get the different patient information. They don't need to look at different types of platforms and see different patients kind of in a different view all the time. They get one single view about all their patients no matter where they are. And those, you know, they can kind of have a snapshot of the patient. So the things they can access are like lab results, clinical information. It reduces their rounds preparation, so their pre-rounds preparation when they have to go out and get sheets of paper that tell who their patients are, where their patients are, go in to get lab information to see if they need to see a patient now or not. It reduces the wait time for patient lab results because they're not going to retrieve them. They're shown to them on their device. And they're color-coded to give them indications of the at what level, whether there's some specific level that they want to round on because there's a critical value as opposed to a cautionary value. We'll talk about that in more detail. They can view all labs for a patient population. They can view all types of reports such as microbiology, pathology, radiology, and transcription. And again, it's all secure, anytime, anywhere access, HIPAA compliant, and supports all these platforms as well. So what I'm going to do right now is just, I've gone ahead and logged into our system here, and I'm going to share with you an application so that I can show you exactly what this looks like. So now I've basically gone out and logged into my solution. I went ahead and did that. So what you see here is the very first screen that a physician will see. And you'll notice up in the top there's several different drop-down list boxes. One at the top left says census, to the right says cardiology, and then under that is locations. And under cardiology is actually the date. So it shows me today's date automatically by login. It shows me the last location, patient grouping type, and group that I belong to. Whatever I was viewing last during login is what I will see. So we won't go through all the details of that, but the physician has the ability to see patients in inpatient, outpatient settings. We're going to focus on inpatient settings today, and I'm looking at my cardiology group, and those are the patients that I'm currently rounding on in this scenario. So I'm just going to scroll down just a bit, and you'll be able to see my list of patients. Not only do I have a list and a location, patient identifier, I also have some icons across the top, and these are configurable based on the user's preferences, the things that they view the most often, and they'll be able to get those to those items quickly from the front screen. So what I'm going to first do is simply, I'm going to go into the labs application, or launch into the labs view here. And what you'll see is now all the labs that are currently available for Sue Crowder, who is the patient that I've chosen. Scroll down just a little bit, and you'll see that the labs that are available are showing different categorizations of their, whether they're critical or normal or cautionary values. So you see these icons show that by the yellow being cautionary, the red being panic values. So physicians might want to jump straight into those values and see that. And we'll talk about later the ability to have some alerts show up and some things we're going to talk about in just a bit. So now when I come in, I actually see a list of all the labs trended over time for different values, and you can see the yellow markings, as well as if I just move over to the other side here, I'll see different values that are yellow, and then also I will see some that are red as well, which is the reason that I was led here because of the critical value. So all these are cautionary values on these labs previously, and not till the last page is they're critical, and there's some alert settings that we'll set to where you can actually get these critical values, just those values specifically, that we'll speak about in a bit. But basically being able to see all the information for all the different labs and results that are back for this lab. That's just one lab for CBC with differential that we're looking at here right now. From here, from any other screen, I can jump to any of the favorites that I had on the front screen. So from here, I'm gonna actually simply go to medications, and what will happen is on every screen I have the ability to use those favorites that I had out on the front screen. So I've just moved through the patient view to medications, and what I see at the top for this patient, which is a pretty extensive list, is all the current medications that this patient is currently taking, but at the bottom I see all the discontinued medications. So each of these medications gives you the detail of whether it's active or inactive, some information about the delivery, but if I want to see specific information, I can also tap on that specific medication, and I'll see the dosage and the route and the frequency for that medication in particular. From here again, I can move throughout the patient. So I'm going to actually go look at the transcribed notes for this patient. So you see that for this patient, there are 2 transcribed notes for the 14th of November, and they're in reverse order. So the earliest is down at the bottom and the newest is at the top. And by tapping on that, I'll be presented with the actual transcribed note itself. And as you can see, there's a previous at the bottom and at the top. And if I wanted to move between those items, I could go to the next or the previous transcribed note simply by tapping previous or next. So last in my favorites is currently the ability to look at vitals. And again, all these items are available from the front screen, so I don't have to go in any certain order to see them. But I can simply just get there from anywhere. So vitals, as you can see for this patient, haven't been captured consistently, but throughout this day, you'll see several different, the blood pressure was captured, temp was taken twice, and the weight was captured twice. So, and again, I can move forwards and backwards through the list of all the different vitals that were captured throughout the day. And if I rotate the screen, which I can't rotate the screen and present it to you over the web, I will see much more of this information, and I won't have to page over. Or if I'm using a tablet, I will see much more of the information because we take advantage of the real estate that's available on the screen and utilize that as best possible. So what I'm going to do now is just show you some other items that are available. Those are the actions that I had out onto my favorites. But if I tap on the list at the bottom, there's some other things that we talked about, applications I can jump to, like charge capture and charges and diagnosis and dictate. But also you'll notice that beyond that, there are several other items that I didn't actually have on my front screen, such as fluids, microbiology, pathology, radiology. And those three items, pathology, radiology, and microbiology, excuse me, are all launched and presented exactly like the transcribed notes are. They're simply the actual transcribed information. So if you're looking at radiology, you're basically just looking at the radiology report. Excuse me. So here's a list of the radiology reports, simply just like the transcribed notes, and I can drive into any of those and view them just like the transcribed reports. So what I will also go into is the ability to capture a note for a patient and actually attach it to this patient. So the ability to run communication between myself and other care providers who are viewing this patient. And I can either do that for, for myself just to make it private, or I can save it and share it with everyone. So I can put in here that I don't believe that this patient should be having any visitors based on the fact that they need to do have some rest. And I can save that, and it'll be shared. Since I did not mark it as private, will be shared. So as I was saying about the different applications I can get to, just finishing up a few of those that we'll talk about at the bottom of the list. So that was the ability to share a note, and again, I can share that with the group that I work with about the patient, or I can make that private within so that only I can see that. So that's pretty much the whole solution. There is the ability to run managed care, which gives you the ability to share care. If another care provider in your group or in another group is not part of care for a patient, you can share that patient with another provider and start sharing that care with them. But pretty much that's the whole gamut of the rounding solution. What I'd like to do right now is open up for any questions right now. We're running pretty close to the end of our time, so I want to make sure we answer any questions that might come up. I will show one other thing real quickly, that all the callers on this call will be the first to see, really, out to the public, because we have not shared this information. So I'd like to share just one other piece of this PowerPoint that we were looking at. And that's around the alerting solution. So what you're seeing here is some screen snapshots of a solution that's going to be available that we're currently working on, that will be added into the rounding solution for communications between care providers as part of more so alerting providers about information than it is communications, because there's another part to that component as well. This screen snapshot that you're seeing right now is simply a text message. So using, we found that physicians pretty much want to use what they have, but it's not secure. So this is the ability to get secure messaging on your phone and then follow that link to the actual secured information so that you can then communicate back about that or take action on it. The screenshot that you're seeing here is the screen that a physician would see inside of our care solution if they were in there, which is at the top you notice there's a red number 1, which means they have a critical alert because it's red, and it's one alert. They could also have other interactions and messaging with other care providers, but this is just for the alerting piece, shows you one alert that's critical. When I look at that critical alert, I see a drug interaction for this patient, and I can either view that drug interaction and do something about it, or I can simply acknowledge it and move on and do that outside of the application. Again, simply alerted. This screen is a follow-up to that'll change some things about the rounding screen. So you'll notice it looks very similar. It's running on an Android device rather than the earlier screens were running on an iPhone, because we run across all those. And then you notice some icons out to the right. They give indication about the second one next to Alex Holmes with the exclamation mark lets them know that there is a critical alert for that patient. You notice the circles with several different icons, an X meaning that the patient canceled for their appointment, a check mark meaning that they have arrived. I'm sorry, that the appointment has been completed. So everything's done, the patient's done and gone. And the other bin that they have arrived, and one that they have scheduled another appointment. So those are just some examples, but the information that can be communicated to the care provider during an alert or information about the patient is very configurable. So these are just some examples of what information we give the care provider about the status of the patient. So, and this is just the same, just a different view of that same idea with the check marks and the critical alerts, where there's multiple critical alerts, and you see there's a 9 at the top. And I can either drive into the number 9 to see all the critical alerts and take actions on them, or I can drive specifically into a specific patient alert. So I wanted to share that with everyone, because that's not something that we're sharing with the public right now. So just only people who are on this webinar have actually seen that. So we've, with the exception of some study groups that we're working with physicians, that's the only people who would have seen that. And that will be coming shortly. So right now I'd like to open the floor for any questions, comments, see if anybody has any information that they felt I didn't cover that they have questions about, or specific to environments they've seen. So I'll open the floor now for questions.
Chris, are you able to customize how those alerts come to you? How does that work?
Right. So a care provider, you can either do it at the administrative level or at the care provider level. The care provider can actually determine what types of alerts they find most important, that they always want to be alerted about, so that they can discern themselves from some of the alerts and being too many alerts if they're not actually going to do anything with them, so they can do it at the patient level. So they might, a care provider might generally not care about certain alerts, but this patient has a specific care need that actually causes them to want to get that alert. They can actually do that just for that patient as well, or a group of patients. Very good question.
Chris, quick
Any other questions on the phone?
Yes, quick question. Do you integrate with NextGen EMR?
Yes, we've done some integration with NextGen EMR. As far as integration, IQMax has a integration platform that we created. So pretty much we've been doing this for over 10 years now. So to be a mobile care solution, we needed to be able to interact and contact those disparate systems to push data back and forth. So we use that platform to take and push information to any kind of platform, no matter what the format is they're bringing in or want us to push back out. And that's pretty much how we do that. And NextGen is one that we've done some of that integration work with.
So, and I believe you do all this data back and forth using HL7 format?
Yes, that is one of the formats we specifically can use. There are several different ones, but again, we have to have a lot of flexibility, because there was a time when there was no HL7 really going on that much, and we had to take care of that. So we had to build a system flexible enough to take information in different formats, but HL7 is certainly one of those.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you, sir. Well, thanks to everyone for joining. I hope that it was informative. If you do have any questions, you can certainly reach out to us at IQMax and view our website for other information and where you might find demonstrations of our products and get a demo link to see these products yourself. So certainly feel free to go to www.iqmax.com and we appreciate again everyone for signing up. Have a great day, guys.